Welcome. Thanks for taking the time to chat with us this morning.
Thanks for having me, Hugh. It's good to be here.
Great. So I guess starting out, we kind of want to get a bit of background from you on the family business, because obviously it's a family-owned business. How did you first get involved with it? Was it something you wanted to do?
No, so getting involved wasn't something I always wanted to do. Actually, growing up, I thought I'd be doing anything but this. But in high school, after school, I needed a job, and they needed a lot guy. And next thing you know, you fall in love with kind of the atmosphere and the energy of a car dealership. And Lally Ford in Tilbury has some amazing people that worked with back then, and kind of stuck with me. Just love the business.
Can you tell us a little bit about some of the significant milestones the business has seen over the years?
Yeah, so Lally Sales and Service was actually a BA gas station started by my grandparents in a small town in Comber, Ontario in 1946. My dad added the Ford franchise in 1983, moved it to Tilbury in the 90s, and recently we've grown quite a bit. We added a Ford location in Leamington in 2007. That was kind of when I'd graduated university and had joined the business. Then we added Victory Ford in 2010, Lally Kia in Chatham, and both those in neighboring Chatham, and Chrysler and Mazda in Chatham after that, and most recently Chevrolet across the street in Tilbury, and we've partnered with the Riem family in LaSalle. So and also have a little used car store, so 9 rooftops in total.
Fantastic. Yeah. Given that the group represents sort of that many stores and sort of 11 brands in different communities across southwestern Ontario, can you tell us about how sort of Lally Auto Group is able to deliver a superior customer service in the communities in which it operates? Because you operate in a lot of different communities now, right?
It's cliche, but I think definitely our strength is our people, and it really comes down to the person sitting across from the customer, and making sure that person has the customer's interests at heart, and shows they care.
So that was a great point, Adam, and thanks for sharing that sort of about emotion and sort of the genuine caring aspect. But kind of sort of adding to that, I mean, what do you feel are some of the fundamentals in operating successful new and used vehicle retail operations in this environment? Because new and used are quite different animals, aren't they?
For sure. And like in the previous question, I think the fundamentals of new and used, great people are definitely the foundation of that. Other than that, I think over the last few years here, and even obviously the last year, if we've learned anything, it's that your ability to adapt and deal with change and deal with different market conditions is crucial in this business. And I think that's one thing that retail auto dealers do really well as a group is adapt to change and pivot and that type of thing. And I think that's is key now. And I think, as we look forward here in the next few years, that's going to be extremely key to our success. We're dealing with a really turbulent and volatile used car markets right now. The fundamentals is that transparency, honesty, integrity, lots of fun catchy words like that. But when you can be open with your customer and sharing and clear, then I think there's a win in it at the end there. It just is, you got to be a little bit ready to roll the dice too with things going on the way they are right now.
So I'd love to hear more about some of the growth opportunities you've been able to identify in some of the markets in which you operate.
Some of the growth opportunities that we've looked at, most recently, we think we have a huge opportunity in fixed operations to grow and refine our processes there, as well as F&I. We've recently looked to some of our best people in fixed ops and F&I, and are excited. We've got some changes in mind here to try and help spread some of the knowledge of our top performers within the group. while still being able to leverage our differences too. I think, for us, it's really important that each store has its own personality and might have its own little different way of doing things. We're just going to make sure that we get there a little bit faster than otherwise.
What were some of the things that you did at Lally Auto Group to implement when the sort of the pandemic hit, and how has that kind of impacted both sales and service at the group's sort of locations?
Through the pandemic, the biggest successes have been the small things. We were actually trialing a digital retailing platform at one of our stores. I think it launched middle of February or maybe middle of January in 2020. And the plan was kind of, the old, okay, well, we'll see, we'll do a few months and we'll establish some best practices and then we'll roll it out. And so those plans changed pretty quick, and we upped our timeline and rolled that out successfully spring last year at all the stores. So definitely digital retailing. I think, cross-platform selling is something that we're learning more about. Over the last year, we've really made used cars a bigger focus of our operations, and that's a place that we're looking to grow going forward as well. So
Obviously, through this sort of uncertain time, there's been a lot of emphasis on sort of helping others in the community, providing support, initiatives, programs, things like that. So I'd love to hear about some of the things that you guys have been doing.
this whole pandemic has brought the issue of community into focus, right, and how important that is to everyone personally, but to our businesses as well. We play a part in our communities, and we need to be there to support others. So last year in May, I had an opportunity to be part of was called the May 16th Miracle, a county-wide food drive that ended up being the biggest single-day food drive in world history, unofficially. Month after that, myself and a couple coworkers and some other community members decided to bring the initiative to Windsor, Essex, where we had another miracle and raised a huge amount of food, over 2 million pounds of food. So, and I think we've really tried to get creative in how we support local restaurants and that type of thing, and connecting with businesses and stuff like that that are in need, as well as trying to figure out how to do our normal support the causes that we normally do.
How has COVID-19 affected both new and used vehicle demand? I mean, obviously, you mentioned that you've placed a lot of emphasis on used cars in recent months. But I'm kind of curious to see from you in sort of your markets, like, how has demand for vehicles kind of changed as a result of the pandemic?
Demand hasn't been the issue. It's been a supply issue for sure, which is, I haven't been around the industry as long as some, but I've certainly never seen anything like it, and anybody I talk to hasn't either. Where we're dealing with a really unique supply demand equation on both new and used vehicles. I think the used market's certainly affected by new, and then we've got the U.S. dollar and all the things involved in that are affecting it as well. But we've seen demand for all our brands, all types of vehicles, used cars, increase. It's just a matter of sourcing is the biggest issue right now. It seems like the rationality of the market has gone out the window over the last month or two here. It's really unprecedented.
Right. Since you have sort of multiple brands within your sort of umbrella, if you like, are there any trends that you're noticing regarding some of the brands that you work with?
We have a new appreciation for that word trend in this industry, because I think over the past year, anything we've seen as a trend has quickly been proven wrong. And we're seeing so much of a flip-flop in normal times that I just, I think we're real careful about getting too predictive. We certainly in the last year, we've lost out where we have kind of continued normal buying and selling practices and stuck to our process. But I think we've also won in certain instances. And, certainly there's people right now that are betting on an increase or betting on a bubble break. I'm one that I'd rather continue with normal processes and try and, manage the up or the down.
now, as we're sort of 2021, we're into spring, more people are getting vaccinated. It's kind of this a faint light at the end of the tunnel, if you like, I guess. Um, but with that in mind, I mean, how do you see sort of automotive retail evolving as it relates to both the customer and also the dealer as well?
You know, we see a rise consistently where customers' expectations increase, and you know, our service levels increase as a dealer body, and the expectations increase to match that. And I think those are things that are going to become, instead of extras that one dealer does versus another, I think they're going to become things that that everybody's doing soon. That whoever can figure out cross-platform selling and whole kind of merging the showroom and digital experiences is going to have a win there. We're going to have to get good at doing business differently for different people. I think, you know, overall the challenge is how do we deliver on service, or this increasing service on decreasing margins, right? And of course, as a dealer, we always look to volume and that type of thing. But I think that's the biggest question we're going to have. We have increasing service expectations and from customers and increasing pressure on our margins. So I don't have any big answer to that. All I know is just make the next right decision and make the next right move and trust your people and processes. And you know, I think we'll all get through this.
Okay, great, Adam. Thanks for lending it on such a positive note. So thanks for your time, and it's been lovely to chat with you today.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.